Thanks for
Do
asking.
you at some point find out from this?
I'd like to call to order
Nice.
the New Palestine Redevelopment Commission at 6:03 on June 3rd, 2026. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please, if you would stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And can I request a roll call, please?
Here.
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 Yep. All right. Thank you, Brenda. We'll start off with old business, and it will be the approval of the minutes from our meeting on April 1st, 2026. Has all the commission members had a chance to review the minutes, and any updates or corrections? If not, do we have a motion to approve the minutes, the Redevelopment Commission minutes from April 1st, 2026?
Motion to approve the minutes from April 1st, 2026.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor state aye. Aye. Opposed state nay. The motion carries. Great, thank you. We also for old business, we have the fence repair quotes. Jim, town manager, has been able to provide those. Since he's not here today, we're not on a big rush with it because we have several quotes there. I'm going to just request that we table this until.
Okay.
So we'll table this until the July 1st meeting.
Be excellent. By then, we'll also know what tax money we've gotten in from the TIF.
Correct.
Steve, is that a motion?
To table that?
Uh-huh.
Do we need a motion to table it?
You do.
All right, do we have a motion to table the discussion on the US 52 fence repair quotes?
I thought
And
you made that motion.
All right, I'll make that motion to table that until our meeting on July 1st, 2026 at 6 o'clock. Do we have a second, or do we have a motion, or,
You're supposed to motion. That was a fine motion.
Yeah.
I'll second the fine motion.
all right. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed state nay. All right, motion carries. We'll table that till the July 1st meeting. New business. New business, we have the pass-through resolution 060326. This is a requirement we need to submit to, correct, we need that just by ordered by, I think June 15th is the required date. And so this is something we do every year. This just notifies everyone that we don't have enough money or funds in the RDC commission to consider passing through back to the underlying tax units. So,
I reviewed the resolution, and I'll make a motion that we approve it with two corrections. In section 3, or paragraph 3 and paragraph 4, in parentheses, there's a reference to the president or a designee of the president. And for purposes of number 1 being accurate and number 2 being consistent, in both paragraph 3 and 4, I would like the language to say, or his designee. Currently in one place it says their designee, and in the other place it says her designee. So let's just make them both his so that they're accurate and consistent. And with those two changes, I'd make a motion to adopt resolution 060326.
do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed state nay. All right, motion carries. Thank you for capturing those the minor corrections there.
Well, and we can even sign that this evening because
Yes.
the changes are on the first page, and then they can just switch out a corrected page, but thank you.
All right, perfect. No other new business on the agenda here that we've got published, but I did want to bring one, maybe a couple things up. The new area for the town center, or that property for the town center that we're looking at, currently is not under an allocation area. And we would like to create an allocation area for that, so then once we start developing, the property values increase, then the RDC can benefit from that.
And if I am correct, it's in a TIF district,
It's in the TIF
but
district.
it's not an allocation area,
Correct,
meaning it hasn't been activated.
correct.
So yes, the process to activate it or make it an allocation area would be something that should be considered.
Okay. I did ask Zach, our legal counsel, to look at that. Unfortunately, I didn't have it with me. The steps involved, there's quite a few, and it's not the actual steps, it's more just a draft or generic. But in terms of like when things would be done, but obviously the steps, I think, are captured that would have to be accomplished. And I think the first one, Zach, was just defining that allocation area, if I believe.
Correct. That's what we call a declaratory resolution, which this body would adopt, and then it would transmit that declaration to the Plan Commission for approval. After the Plan Commission approves that, or assuming they do, it would go to the Town Council for a public hearing and approval by the Town Council. And then it would eventually come back to the RDC for another public hearing and a final adoption of that resolution. And then there's a short remonstrance period. So the timeline that I drafted for you all essentially assumes that we'll pretend that this meeting would be the declaratory resolution. So going on that time schedule with other Plan Commission meeting, Town Council meetings, and then you've got your notice requirements, that would stretch out roughly to mid-August. So it's roughly a 2-month period if you don't have special meetings. That's kind of how it falls.
But to develop that resolution, we have to define the actual legal terms, I guess, of the property.
That's correct.
Who does that for us?
So we, working with your municipal advisor, could identify those properties, get those parcel lists together, and it'd be like an exhibit to a declaratory resolution.
But who's that, who's the actual body that would put that together? Is that something that,
That's something that your legal counsel would do. We'd identify those property. I mean, if you kind of gave us, an area of what properties you want included in this TIF, we would.
include that, so we can work with Jim on defining that?
Correct.
So I really wasn't trying to bring anything up for a vote today. I just wanted to put it on the table to say, let's have just a general discussion, understanding what next steps would be, what we need to do, who needs to be involved, so that we can start looking at that. One other question regarding that, is there a timeline that we need to be concerned with in terms of regards of how soon do we have to get this in before we do something with that? Like before we purchase the property, I'm assuming we have to do it before we before we break ground.
You don't necessarily have to do it before you break ground. An important date to keep in mind is there's a 25-year period clock that starts once you obligate funds generated by that. So, I mean, you could create that and it could sit for a while, and then once you obligate it, it's 25 past that. So there's no really timeline as far as like breaking ground or anything like that. A couple issues or nuances that I might point out is it may serve the town best if it's broken up in several different allocation areas, depending on from what I understand, there's going to be a town center and then a mixed use area around that. It may be beneficial to break those up in a few different allocation areas, and we can get into the weeds on that when there's more interest or when they're closer to development. Another thing that you might want to look at, and the town center itself or any town-owned property wouldn't generate any TIF monies because you're not paying taxes on that. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
So that would be for like the actual town center itself.
Correct.
Now, if we had an amphitheater or a park or something like that, would be separate. We'd have to have separate allocation areas for maybe for those to separate them from the
Correct.
actual-
Yeah. Any
town.
town-owned property you wouldn't want a TIF because there's no point
So
in
we're
it.
not doing
The
it.
town owns the amphitheater, you wouldn't tip that, but everything around it, the commercial, if there's residential, those pockets.
Correct.
Okay, okay, good to know. Okay. Other subject I wanted to discuss, and then, again, we have no control over this, obviously, from the RDC. And Zach, as you mentioned, we can only put a TIF district in for the property that falls within the town limits itself.
That's correct.
So obviously, right now, all of our development in New Pal has really been on the west side of New Pal. Nothing really has been done on the east side. You get past the creek here on the east side, then you got Stryker's place, and you got is it Anderson? Who has the big cranes? Armstrong, excuse me, thank you, Armstrong. But besides that, and I guess there's the self-storage units. But that area has really been not really a lot of activities going on, and somewhere down the road here, that's going to change. Now, obviously, that's outside the town limits, so if we wanted to do anything, would the town council would consider looking at annexing in the additional property east of here, and if that was the case, then we could follow up with looking at putting a TIF district in and so forth. But it looks like from a long-term side, maybe something that the town council may want to consider is we want to annex and go further east.
And west,
Yeah, why not?
and north, and south.
There's a lot of areas we can go. But now that we've been operating now for several years, and we just used what we've done on the west side with the hospital and the new luxury apartments, and now with the Kroger, those were pretty much handed to us. Now maybe it's time for the commission to start looking at what else we can do besides waiting on business to come to us. Any thoughts on that?
Certainly makes sense.
But I don't know what it takes that's obviously outside our area, what it really takes to do an annexation of different areas. I'm sure, I know that's not an easy process. I'm sure that's probably a significant long process to do.
Well,
But at least like to get it on the table as a possible discussion somewhere down the road here so that we can look at that as we try to manage what happens, what kind of growth we have in town and so forth. I don't want to be biased, but I don't want to see Amazon warehouses on 52 as we go out east,
Well, and I would anticipate that as developers pursue those properties and want to develop those properties, they would seek annexation for a lot of different reasons. I don't know, I can't speak for the council as a council, but historically, the council has not been interested in contested annexation. So if a developer or a property owner wants to approach the town for voluntary annexation, we've done that several times. So, it all just depends on what are the facts.
Sure. Do we need to do anything to make this a request that the town council consider for their annexations?
I think the town council is always open to, again, if it's voluntary annexation, if somebody came to the town and said, we want to be included, I'm not aware of any situations that we've said no. But at the same token, I also don't know of any situations where we've said, we're going to annex this whether you like it or not.
Or even, can we say, or ask the question, even just going out to those property owners and say, would you have an issue with
Are you
annexation?
interested in it?
Yeah. They may or may not be, but we may not know because they just haven't come to us, to the
Sure.
town council and asked.
Well, I think that I would certainly volunteer to mention that later this evening at the town council meeting and just bring it up as a discussion item and see what the feel is.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else? Commission members, anything to bring up? All right.
Covered.
Gina or Bill? All right. With that said, do we have a motion to close the New Palestine Redevelopment Commission?
Motion to close the New Palestine Redevelopment Commission.
I'll second that motion.
All right, thank you. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed state nay. All right, motion carries. The commission is closed, or meeting closed. Please stay around, so we do have some documents here that we need to have signed.